In the intricate tapestry of human connection, woven with threads of shared experiences, mutual respect, and heartfelt understanding, there exist certain ruptures that can irrevocably damage the entire fabric. Have you ever extended the vulnerable hand of trust towards another, only to find it met with an unnerving silence, a void where support and solidarity should have resided during your most trying times? This chilling absence, the stark realization of being alone in your struggle despite the assumed presence of a confidant, cuts deep into the core of our being. It leaves us questioning the very foundation upon which the relationship was built, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truth that our perception of the bond might have been tragically misaligned with reality. Or perhaps you experienced the sting of blatant dishonesty, the disconcerting sensation of looking into the eyes of someone you believed in, only to have them deliver a carefully constructed falsehood. This isn't a mere oversight or a minor white lie. It's a deliberate act of deception, a conscious choice to manipulate your understanding of reality for their own purposes. And then, adding insult to injury, they might even expect forgiveness, a swift and unquestioning absolution, as if their transgression was a trivial matter, a mere slip of the tongue rather than a calculated act of disrespect. This expectation, this casual disregard for the damage inflicted by their deceit, can leave you feeling not only betrayed but also profoundly undervalued. And perhaps the most poignant of all, have you ever offered your unwavering loyalty, that precious commodity of unwavering support and steadfast commitment, to someone who then discarded it with a casualness that borders on indifference? This isn't about differing opinions or occasional disagreements. It's about a fundamental disregard for the value you place on a relationship, a flippant dismissal of the emotional investment you made. It's the crushing realization that your dedication was not reciprocated, that your commitment was not held with the same reverence you bestowed upon theirs. This type of betrayal strikes at the heart of our need for belonging and leaves us feeling profoundly exposed and vulnerable. If any of these scenarios resonate with the echoes of your past experiences, if these questions have stirred a familiar ache within your soul, then this exploration into the wisdom of Stoic philosophy is specifically tailored for you. We are not here to wallow in the pain of past hurts, but rather to gain a deeper understanding of these specific types of betrayals through the lens of ancient wisdom. Stoicism, far from being a philosophy of cold attachment, offers a powerful framework for navigating complexities of human relationships with clarity, resilience, and unwavering self-respect. It provides us with the tools to discern what truly matters, to understand the nature of others' actions, and most importantly, to guide our own responses in a way that protects our inner peace and fosters genuine well-being. Before we embark on this journey into profound insights of Stoic thought, I encourage you to take a moment to connect with this content. If you are seeking guidance on how to navigate the turbulent waters of betrayed trust, how to master the often overwhelming emotions that arise in such situations, how to safeguard your precious inner peace from the corrosive effects of others' actions, and how to cultivate an unshakable sense of self-respect that cannot be diminished by the choices of others, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. By joining our community, you will gain access to a wealth of resources dedicated to helping you cultivate emotional resilience and live a life guided by wisdom and integrity. So, take a deep breath, prepare to engage with these powerful lessons rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, and let us begin to unravel the significance of these three specific betrayals in the context of building stronger, healthier, and more authentic relationships, starting with a profound and often deeply personal experience of disloyalty. 1. The unforgivable nature of disloyalty. In the rigorous and often uncompromising world of Stoicism, where virtue is considered the sole good and external circumstances are viewed with a degree of detachment, the significance of actions cannot be overstated. Words, while capable of conveying meaning and intention, often fall short when compared to the undeniable weight of deliberate choices. And when it comes to the realm of relationships, perhaps no action speaks more loudly and unequivocally than that of disloyalty. It is not a momentary lapse in judgment, not an unintentional misstep. In the Stoic view, disloyalty is a conscious decision, a deliberate turning away from the bonds of trust and commitment that form the very bedrock of meaningful human connection. When an individual chooses to betray your trust, they are not acting impulsively or without forethought. Instead, they are engaging in a process of internal deliberation, weighing the value of your relationship, considering the depth of your loyalty, and ultimately deciding to prioritize their own interests, desires, or perceived advantages above the commitments they have made to you. This is not an accidental occurrence. It is a calculated act, a clear demonstration of where their true priorities lie in that particular moment. And while the pain of this realization can be sharp and deeply felt, Stoicism encourages us to view this clarity as a valuable gift. It strips away illusions and allows us to see the relationship for what it truly is, unburdened by our hopes or assumptions. Stoics, with their emphasis on focusing on what lies within our sphere of control, understand that we cannot dictate the actions of others. We can offer our loyalty, our trust, and our support, but we cannot force another person to reciprocate these virtues. However, we have absolute control over our own responses to their actions. When disloyalty rears its head, Stoicism does not advocate for vengeful reactions or dramatic confrontations fueled by anger and resentment. Instead, it proposes a path of quiet, calm, and complete withdrawal. This withdrawal is not born out of bitterness or desire to inflict pain. It is a pragmatic and self-respecting response to a clear signal. The disloyal act reveals a fundamental truth. This person, through their own choices, has demonstrated that they no longer deserve a place within your inner circle, that sacred space reserved for those who value and uphold the principles of trust and fidelity. This act of withdrawal is not about punishment. It is about self-preservation. Stoics place immense value on inner peace and tranquility, recognizing that these are the cornerstones of a virtuous and fulfilling life. Allowing disloyalty to fester, to consume our thoughts with anger and resentment, directly undermines this pursuit of inner peace. By calmly and decisively withdrawing from the relationship, we are not only acknowledging the other person's choice, but also actively protecting our own emotional well-being. We are refusing to allow their betrayal to dictate our emotional state or to diminish our sense of self-worth. Furthermore, Stoicism underscores the importance of self-respect. To continue investing in a relationship where loyalty has been demonstrably absent is to devalue our own commitment and to implicitly condone the other person's actions. By withdrawing, we are sending a clear message, not necessarily to the betrayer, but to ourselves, that our loyalty is a valuable asset, not to be taken for granted or carelessly discarded. We are asserting our inherent worth and refusing to settle for relationships that are built on a foundation of broken promises and self-serving actions. In the Stoic framework, nothing is considered more valuable than our own peace of mind and the integrity of our character. Disloyalty, therefore, is not something to be forgiven and forgotten. It is a clear indicator that the relationship has fundamentally shifted, and the most virtuous and self-respecting response is often to quietly and completely move forward, carrying the hard-earned lesson with us. 2. The quiet poison of lies. While overt act of aggression or blatant disrespect can inflict immediate and obvious wounds upon a relationship, there exists a more insidious form of betrayal that often operates in the shadows, slowly eroding the very foundation of trust. The quiet poison of lies. Some may attempt to downplay the significance of dishonesty, labeling certain falsehoods as harmless or even necessary social lubricants. However, from a Stoic perspective, every lie, regardless of its perceived magnitude, represents a significant breach of integrity and introduces a subtle but damaging crack into the delicate structure of trust that binds individuals together. When a person consciously chooses to lie to you, they are making a silent but profound statement about the value they place on your relationship and on you as an individual. In essence, their act of deception communicates, "I do not respect you enough to share the truth with you. I believe that you are either incapable of handling the truth or that my own interests are more important than your right to know it." This is not the language of love, nor is it the hallmark of genuine friendship. Instead, it is a form of manipulation, a calculated attempt to control your perception of reality for their own gain, or to avoid facing the consequences of their actions. The smile they might wear while delivering a lie only serves to further underscore the deceptive nature of their behavior. The Stoic approach to navigating such situations is rooted in the principle of observing the world and the actions of others without the distorting lens of illusion or wishful thinking. If someone engages in a pattern of lying, what they are consistently demonstrating is their comfort level with deceiving you. It reveals a fundamental aspect of their character and their approach to relationships. And perhaps more importantly, The Stoics would argue that the more you tolerate such behavior, the more it becomes your accepted norm within a relationship. You risk lowering your own standards and implicitly condoning the dishonesty, which can have detrimental effects on your self-respect and your ability to discern truth from falsehood in future interactions. Therefore, the Stoic counsel in the face of persistent lies is clear and direct. Recognize the pattern. Do not attempt to rationalize it away. Do not try to fix the other person, and certainly do not justify their deception. Instead, acknowledge the reality of the situation and make the conscious decision to walk away. This is not an act of anger or retribution. It is a pragmatic and self-protective measure. Honesty is not a negotiable commodity in authentic and meaningful relationships. It is a fundamental price of entry, the essential ingredient that allows for genuine connection and mutual understanding to flourish. When that foundation of honesty is repeatedly compromised by lies, the relationship itself becomes inherently unstable and ultimately unsustainable for someone seeking a life guided by virtue and integrity. The quiet poison of lies, if left unchecked, will eventually corrode the entire structure of trust, leaving behind only emptiness and disillusionment. The Stoic path encourages us to recognize this insidious threat early on and to prioritize our own well-being by removing ourselves from situations where deception has become a recurring theme. 3. Broken trust doesn't mend easily. In the realm of human relationships, there are certain elements that, once fractured, rarely return to their original state of wholeness. While time can heal many wounds and forgiveness can pave the way for reconciliation in some instances, trust occupies a unique and often precarious position. Let's be realistic. You can diligently work to rebuild a house after it has been damaged. You can patiently replant a garden after a harsh winter. But trust? That is a different entity altogether. It is not a tangible object that can be pieced back together. Rather, it is a living agreement, an unspoken pact of mutual reliance and vulnerability that is painstakingly built over time through consistent honesty, reliability, and genuine care. And tragically, this intricate and delicate structure can be shattered in an instant by a single act of betrayal. The very moment someone makes the conscious choice to break that trust, whether through disloyalty, deception, or any other form of significant transgression, they are not merely damaging the relationship. They are fracturing a fundamental bond that may never fully repair. While you might, through conscious effort and perhaps a desire for reconciliation, choose to forgive the person who breached your trust, the Stoics understood that the act of forgetting is often beyond our control. Deep down, a seed of doubt will likely be planted, a persistent shadow that lingers in the recesses of your mind, coloring your future interactions with that individual. The innate sense of security and unwavering belief that once characterized a relationship will likely be replaced by a degree of caution and a lingering awareness of their capacity for betrayal. Stoicism, with its emphasis on living in accordance with nature and accepting what we cannot change, teaches us the wisdom of not clinging to that which no longer serves our well-being. If someone has demonstrated, through their actions, that they are incapable of consistently upholding the principles of trust, it is not your responsibility to endlessly grant them second chances, hoping for a different outcome. Instead, Stoicism advocates for the crucial act of self-protection. Your dignity and your emotional well-being are paramount, and it is your responsibility to safeguard them from repeated harm. This does not necessarily mean harboring resentment or seeking revenge. It simply means acknowledging the reality of the situation and making choices that prioritize your own inner peace and security moving forward. The concept of forgiveness within Stoicism is often misunderstood. It is not necessarily about condoning the harmful actions of others or pretending that the betrayal never occurred. Instead, Stoic forgiveness is more about releasing the negative emotions that the betrayal has evoked within you, the anger, the resentment, the bitterness. It is about freeing yourself from the emotional burden of holding on to past hurts so that you can move forward with a sense of clarity and equanimity. However, this act of forgiveness does not automatically necessitate a return to the same level of intimacy or trust that existed before the betrayal. Sometimes, the most powerful and self-respecting form of forgiveness is the act of letting go of the expectation that the relationship can be fully restored, letting go of the hope that the person will fundamentally change, and letting go of the need to continue investing in a situation that has proven to be detrimental to your well-being. Broken trust leaves scars, and while these scars may fade over time, they often serve as permanent reminders of the fragility of human connection and the importance of choosing wisely who we allow into our inner circle. The Stoic approach encourages us to learn from these experiences, to accept the reality of what has happened, and to move forward with wisdom and a renewed commitment to protecting our own peace of mind. In the intricate web of relationships that we navigate throughout our lives, whether they be romantic partnerships, cherished friendships, or even the complex dynamics within our families, there exist certain forms of betrayal that transcend mere apologies or superficial attempts at reconciliation. Disloyalty, deception, and the fundamental shattering of trust are not simply minor flaws or unintentional missteps in character. Rather, they are deliberate decisions, conscious choices that reveal a person's true values and priorities. And as Stoic philosophy so clearly illuminates, these decisions, like all actions, carry significant consequences that cannot be easily dismissed or ignored. A true Stoic, guided by reason and a commitment to virtue, does not advocate for the corrosive practice of holding grudges or allowing resentment to fester within the soul. Instead, the Stoic approach emphasizes the importance of learning from every experience, both positive and negative. When faced with the pain of betrayal, the Stoic seeks to understand the lesson embedded within the situation. What has this experience revealed about the other person? What has it taught me about my own boundaries and expectations? And most importantly, how can I move forward in a way that protects my inner peace and fosters greater wisdom in my future interactions? Therefore, the next time someone shows you who they truly are through an act of profound disloyalty, a calculated deception, or a blatant disregard for your trust, the Stoic wisdom encourages you to believe them. Their actions speak volumes, providing a clarity that words often fail to deliver. And perhaps even more importantly, respect yourself enough to never willingly return to a situation where these fundamental principles of trust and loyalty have been so clearly and demonstrably violated. Your well-being, your peace of mind, and your sense of self-worth are invaluable, and they should not be compromised by repeatedly exposing yourself to those who have proven themselves unworthy of your trust. If you have found value in this message, if the insights gleaned from Stoic philosophy have resonated with your own experiences and offer new perspective on navigating complexities of relationships, then please take a moment to like this content, share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and subscribe to this channel for more guidance on cultivating emotional strength and living a life guided by integrity and wisdom. Remember, the path to a fulfilling and meaningful life is often paved with the lessons we learn from both the joys and the sorrows of our human connections. Stay grounded in your principles. Stay wise in your judgments. And above all, stay true to the unwavering compass of your own inner values.